Welcome everybody to today's video, and I just wanted to ask you this question. Are you going through a spiritual awakening? Or are you in a phase where you feel lost? Maybe it's such a dark place and you don't know what's happening to you, but it seems like the old identity, the person that you were once, that's not you anymore. And suddenly there are so many changes within you and outside of you. Perhaps you are going through a spiritual awakening. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you the 5 biggest signs of how you can know if you are going through a spiritual awakening. If that's something that you're interested in, then stay around. When we grow up, we go through lots of programming. We go through conditioning by our environment, our family, our parents, our friends. Everything that we are getting in touch with are determining how we are being programmed in this lifetime. Especially the first 7 years of your life, you are going to adopt most of your programming, most of your beliefs that you're growing up in. And as you grow older, you're only adding up to that. You're only adding up to those belief systems, to what you believe about yourself and what you believe around the world, about the world, or just the way you go through life, or what you think is possible for you, maybe how you perceive yourself. This is all programming, and we have to understand that. And a lot of people, when they are starting to awake spiritually, usually something big happens, something terrible happens, and they go to a very deep low, which many people refer to as the dark night of the soul. I have experienced the dark night of the soul, I believe, now after reading a lot, listening to a lot of people who have been going through a spiritual awakening. I believe that my dark night of the soul happened around 5 years ago. And I hope if it's okay with you if I share a little bit about my story, so that all that I'm going to share, these 5 things in how you are recognizing if you are going through a spiritual awakening, how this relates to you. 5 years ago, I was going through depression, and it was a very deep point in my life where I was just wondering, why am I here? What am I doing here? And I didn't really see the point of being here anymore. And I wasn't at a point where I was going to do anything about that, but I was thinking those thoughts, and I felt very alone. It was very dark, and yeah, it was a very dark period of my life. And when I moved through that, it took me a couple of years to move through that, I started to ask myself all these questions. And maybe this is happening to you as well. Maybe you're going through this very dark period in your life, or you've gone through this very dark period in your life where just everything crashed. Your entire life crashed, and you were starting to question, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I here? What's the reason behind this? What's the purpose behind this? Isn't there more to life, or is this just all that there is? And usually, and this is the biggest, one of the first signs of that you're going through a spiritual awakening after you've been experiencing the dark night of the soul, is you're just going to question. You're going to question all of these things about your life. You're going to start to think for yourself, and in fact you're actually breaking away from that old identity, that old belief system that that's been the attitude of how you've been going through life. suddenly you have this like click, like why does this matter? What am I doing, and why am I doing it, and what am I doing it for? And once you're asking yourself these questions, you're actually unlocking the key to opening yourself up to more knowledge, more expansion, I would call it. More soul expansion. You're going to go into a deeper level of yourself. And this is one of the first things if you're going through a spiritual awakening. You're just going to question a lot. And this is usually also one of the periods that is least pleasant. This is one of the experiences that many people, you don't even know that you're going through a spiritual awakening. You have no clue what's happening to you. Usually there's lots of chaos, there's lots of breakdowns, but before we break through, there's usually a breakdown. So going through a spiritual awakening actually opens you up to a lot of exciting things in life, and that's the good news. So if you're experiencing a dark night of the soul right now, know that it's all for a reason, and that experience is going to open up so many beautiful things within your life. Now, the second thing that is going to happen naturally as you unlock your connection to that there's more out there is you're going to become more sensitive to things around you. Suddenly, all of your senses are as if you're making over hours, you know? Suddenly, when you walk in a room, you know what everyone is going through. You know what they're experiencing. You can feel what people are experiencing. You can feel the energy in the room. You can feel so much that it sometimes can be overwhelming. And this is why you're going to be choosing to isolate yourself more often. I'm not saying that when you're going through a spiritual awakening that you're going to isolate yourself all the time, but just you're recognizing the fact that you need a little bit of time alone. You need some time away from different things that are triggering you or that are just consuming a lot of energy of you. You're going to spend more time in nature, a little bit more time away. And while you're doing this, you're actually going more and more within. You're more connecting to yourself. You're more connecting to, the deeper layers within yourself. You're also going to be more empathetic to people around you, to what's happening in the world. A lot of times you're going to do your research on what's actually going on. You're starting to question not only things for yourself, but about the world. Like, why are things as they are? It doesn't make sense, And suddenly it is like instead of being in this world, you're flying above it with this eagle eye view of the world. Suddenly everything just clicks and it's just so clear for you, like why things are like they are. And you're not in it anymore. You're not in the drama, but instead you're observing it now. So the third thing that most people who are going through a spiritual awakening is that you are going to wake up to a bigger purpose. You're going to find more reason behind the things that you're doing. You're going to wanting to help others to rise to their fullest potential, to live life in happiness, to live life as they're supposed to live it. You're going to help people to recognize that within themselves, and that will be your drive. Instead of wanting to do things just because you want to improve your life, now it's not about you anymore, it's about them, it's about the world, it's about sharing what you've seen now, sharing what you've experienced now, and wanting to help others to escape from that suffering and to escape from the stress and the pressure. You're going to naturally want to help others. The fourth thing that you're going to experience is that you're going to be so interested about the laws of the universe. You're going to be so interested in why certain events in your life are suddenly happening as they're happening to you. You're going to see a lot of synchronicities, and what that means is that maybe you were in the morning, you were reading a book, a certain sentence, and then suddenly as you are moving through your day and you're meeting with people, suddenly you hear the same words everywhere that you were reading this morning, or the same quotes, or the same numbers. You're going to see a lot of things showing up in your life that are the same. Whether that's just through the words of people that they're saying and the images that you're seeing on your phone or whatever, your news feed, you're going to see a lot of synchronicities, a lot of the things that are the same. And these are signs and messages from the universe, and you're going to suddenly pick up on them. And it's not like these messages haven't been around. In fact, they've always been around, but because you're now able to receive them, because you're aware of them, you're now able to pick up on them. And this is something that you're going to experience as well, is you're going to see so many synchronistic events, whether that are people or just things that you're reading, or quotes, or I don't know, stuff that you hear on the radio, or a song. Maybe you ask for an answer from the universe and suddenly a person in your life is just casually talking, and you notice that within this talking there's actually a secret message that and you're feeling that was the answer to what you were actually asking for without them even knowing. You're going to see that everything is connected, and this leads me to the fifth thing, which is you're going to see that every single thing is connected. You're going to recognize the fact that we're just more than that we can see in this physical reality. You're going to recognize that everything that we can see, hear, touch, and smell and perceive within this reality is interconnected. It's all the same. We are all one. And the more you connect to that, the more you connect within, the more you are going to connect without. This is what you are going to recognize, is that everything is just one big play, that we're all fractals taking part in that play, and in a miraculous way everything just perfectly works together. That is what you're going to recognize, and because you're going to recognize that, you also recognize how important and how of an incredible human being that you are to be able to be here and to contribute in your particular way. So these are the 5 signs of how you can recognize if you are going through a spiritual awakening. I am so curious if any one of you have been experiencing some of these signs, or maybe you have been experiencing other signs. Let me know in the comments if that is you, and I'm so curious to know what every one of you has been going through, and if we can connect the dots. If you have liked this video, then please click that like button below, because it will not only help me to grow my channel, but it will most importantly help all the other people who are in the world out there crying for help. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's also a little bell, by the way, that you can click on, so you'll be notified with every new video that comes up, so you can make this your best year yet. But for now, I'm going to tune out. We have such an exciting future to look forward to, and I am looking forward to see you in the next video.